What's up, y'all, and thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T. For a second there, I was thinking about stopping these videos because not getting much traction, not much people watching. But you know what? I'm gonna continue to do them because it's my channel, and I owe it to those who do watch, and I know those personally who do watch. So doing this for you, and yeah, I read fucking notes. So stop your bitching and complaining. I got notes. There's big channels out there that read notes too. You got people out there that want to tell me in my comments that I'm reading a script and that I'm well, you expecting me to fucking, like I'm not good for a role, and you think I'm doing this to get to Hollywood? Hollywood can fucking kiss my ass. Fucking goddamn places full of Satan worshippers and all that stuff. I'm hearing those things, so I ain't saying stuff that's not known or not talked about. But anyway, let's get on with this video. It's NXT 2.0. It's my rundown and thoughts. And first of all, I want to say that I stand corrected because for the previous videos, especially the last NXT video, I kept talking about Braun Breaker is Scott Steiner's son, looks just like him and all that stuff. And then I could have sworn I read that when an article about him, Von Wagner, and the other guy Jensen, they're like second generation superstars, and I could have sworn they said that it was Scott Steiner's son. Maybe they said his nephew. But then again, if they do that, then why didn't you just say Rick Steiner? But then maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know. Who am I? Sometimes I misread things. But yeah, he's Rick Steiner's son, but he does look like Scott Steiner. So I'm just thinking that he looks like his uncle. I'm not saying that there's any kind of little bit of you know something going on there, and maybe Rick Steiner ain't his dad. But come on, give me a break. There are people that look like their uncles and look like they're there. There's no thing going on. No need to do a DNA test or anything like that. But he just basically just had a segment, kind of like a pre-taped thing that he had to say, and I'll talk about that later on. But let's move on. BFAB and Hit Row open up the show, and it's all about the ladies, says Ashanti the Adonis. And I want to let you guys know that if it looks like I'm reading something like this, I look straight ahead. At times I don't look at the camera. It's hard to kind of look up and talk and look up and talk. I tend to look straight ahead, and my notes just happen to be right there. So I'm not reading the script. Fuck you to this asshole who said it. You're an asshole. You got no fucking subs whatsoever or any kind of thing. No I can upload some. Oh no, that guy that was that guy. Yeah, that guy that said yeah. Uploaded. He has some uploaded videos. They don't have that many views. I mean, yeah, I'm guilty of that. But you know what? I don't go around telling people how to run their channel or tell them to stop uploading videos. So fuck you. Now let's move on to this. And Ashanti Idiadana says that it's your day, since to the ladies. They run down what titles are on the line tonight. I like the rapport, and I like how even Top Dollar was in there saying things. They're shutting them up like, hey, talking about, hey man, he was about to sound like they thought he was gonna say bitches, and he goes, oh no, I was gonna say ladies, and then stuff like that. It's funny how these guys went from being like stone cold, like no pun intended, but really serious and like gangster and all that stuff. But then right now, the way they did it in this ring was I loved their thing, man. I loved how they were kind of vibing off each other and throwing bouncing stuff off each other when they're talking, and they're pretty funny. They're pretty good. Really really love this crew, this group, this faction. And they're talking about the women's title tonight. It's on the line. The women's tag team titles, and even the cruiserweight title, but not Swerve's title, because no one is stepping up to him. And I'm thinking, has he ever? I believe he's defended it once, or maybe even twice. I don't know, but I don't think he's defended it that much time since he got it. Maybe one time I can remember. And then we see a no DQ match between B-Fab and Elektra Lopez. And might I add, Elektra Lopez is very, very sexy. She's really put together. She's a girl that she's all about power. She's got, you can tell that she lifts heavy, and she packs on that muscle and all that stuff. But she doesn't look, overweight in the least. Like there's some girls out there that can't hold that together and look good. She looks good. And apparently her body and everything like that is kind of attuned to that type of workout and building. It's like I just don't see no imperfections on her whatsoever. She's really sexy. She's really great, and she actually pulled it out in this match, and she wins via a one arm sit out slam. I mean, she just slammed. So I'm trying to think like that. It's like a Blue Thunder bomb, but not. But then she kind of slammed her down, and she sat out. Maybe it's a sit out power bomb. Uh, you know, but it was effective, and she beat B Fab. And I gotta say, B Fab, as much as I love her, she really got to work on her in ring. I'm not saying she's terrible, but there's room for improvement there. And she's pretty green. I mean, last week when she had her match, she was pretty winded, and she looks like she's in phenomenal shape, great shape. She's slender, she's tall, she's athletic looking. So I'm just saying, no hate, no hate, girl, but I'm just saying, kind of work on your stamina there, your what you call that, whatever, But she just needs to kind of, she needs to work on it. But and I'm not no wrestler. I'm not no person. Who am I to say that? But I'm just saying that out of love. I'm not saying it to be a hater. You know. But you see it, in the match. She pulled off some good stuff. But you know. But anyway, let's move on. The honeymoon of Index, and we see Mama and Papa Gargano spying on the newlyweds, and we see what they're doing and what the kind of fun that they are having in there. Not the stuff that happens behind closed doors, but a lot of like kiddie games and just some silliness. But that's how the newlyweds. That's how they that's how they roll. They roll, I guess. And we're gonna see a little bit more of them later on. Now Joe Gacy is still letting us know, well, whatever he's talking about, he's all about ushering the world into a new normal. Okay. And then Zion Quinn is his opponent, and he does a Samoan battle cry. And in fact, well, I thought it was him, but no, his opponent is only Lorcan. And then we see a flying forearm coming out of the corner turnbuckle there. I mean, well, outside of the corner, I should say. And he knocks out Lorcan and gives him a huge victory. And Zion Quinn actually does have a good look. He's a guy who's really, really, he's very fierce. He's very intense. And the guy carries on his Samoan heritage. And I don't know what they can do with him, but I mean, they could easily make this guy a monster heel. He has that look, or a real, real big fan favorite baby face. I mean, he already showed that he pretty much loves the ladies and he has nothing but respect for them. And that one guy wanted to walk in front of this one girl, and he just took that dude and threw him down and beat on him and then let the girl in. And I go, there, you got some, that could be some good baby face, you know, stuff on him. I mean, I don't know how you say that, but yeah, he was good. He was good in this match, and he gets the victory. And we'll see what happens as the weeks go by. Grayson Waller, well, I hate to tell you, but you are not defeating Roderick Strong for the Cruiserweight title. He's got a lot of bravado. He's really talking like, he's got it. And later on in the match, we'll see if he does have that. Now, MSK are going to continue to be fighting champs. But the Grizzled Young Veterans come out and ask about their 2-on-2 title match. How about us against you? And then Carmelo Hayes and Trick come out. And of course, Carmelo Hayes holds the golden ticket in the form of that contract, and he's going off on, he's like confronting every guy, every champion out there. Of course, the only champions he can't confront is the women. But if he had a way in to do that, and maybe he represents one of the women backstage, and he can cash that in. I mean, could he do that? I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. Depends on how it's written, the contract. Maybe he could do that, but I'm sure he wants to get a championship for himself. I think one of these days there's going to be a breakout tournament for the women as well, because why not? That would be something great. This is something original. It's not Money in the Bank. It's not Royal Rumble. It's not anything like that where the main roster people have that way of sneaking in there and getting the title shot. We got this thing. That's pretty good. I think the first breakout tournament, they didn't do this, so they probably said, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to make it to where we're gonna have our own version of being able to cash in and taking someone's title. But we'll see when and where he's gonna, get a title shot. This thing did end up where next week they announced that it's going to be a fatal, not fatal four, but a 8-man tag. MSK and oh yeah, that's right. I got to talk about that. Briggs and Jensen they step up to the competition and step up to Carmelo and Trick, and the tag champs go sailing over the top and they take out the Grizzled Young Vets and Trick and Carmelo. Briggs and Jensen said, especially Jensen said, when I said before I came here, I said I was gonna, some like paraphrase and knock someone out, knock someone's teeth in, and then they attack Trick and Carmelo. And so looks like they're a babyface tag team, and then actually they're going to tag up with MSK, and they're going to take on Trick and Carmelo and the Grizzled Young Vets. So that's going to be wild. I don't like multi-man tags, but these four teams look like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I said I'm open to those matches, but at times it could be messy, especially in whatever promotion that they do them. Sometimes, in WWE they kind of got it down to where it actually is a controlled mess, but in other places it's just a mess. You know what I mean? So we'll see about that. Now Raquel Gonzalez is backstage, and she lets us know that she is ready for Frankie Monet. And then Mandy Rose says that title looks good on Gonzalez, but it would look so much better on her. Kind of setting the tone, and we're going to see what happens later on, during that main event with Raquel and Frankie. Toxic Attractions, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane challenge Io Shirai and Zoe Stark for the women's tag team titles. I thought that they were going to drop the titles because they've had them for so long, and they were talking about how many times have they defended it. It was a while when they first won the titles. I don't think they defended the titles for months, and then they finally did. It was last a couple 3 weeks ago, and then they defended them tonight. Now, Wade Barrett's getting on their case, going, they haven't, defended their titles in how long? And I'm going, you just kind of made yourself look dumb because they just defended them 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? There was a time where it used to be every 30 days you had to defend their title. They kind of thrown that rule out the window a long time ago. It used to be a time, especially I think during Hulk Hogan's time, if a champion didn't defend it in 30 days, their title was stripped. They don't do that nowadays. Now, in this match, though, the champs retained in a decent outing. I mean, no complaints really here. It was just a basic match. Basically used to make Zoe and I guess Io look strong, but as champions. But then I think JC Jane and Gigi Dolan actually looked strong in this match too. I thought they were gonna win. There was a couple times where this much, from the referee hitting the mat for the 3 count, and they almost did. But I thought they were going to, and then they're going to set up Mandy Rose so time down the road, whenever challenge, and then she becomes champion, then they become a strong unit. But I'll talk about that later. Now, Braun Breaker is high energy, like he says. He's high intensity, and he's focused on becoming the NXT champion. They show all his accolades, not his accolades, but all the people on Twitter giving him praise and everything. I'm one of the people that's giving him praise as well. And Ciampa later on hears Breaker, and he took a long time to get his NXT title back, says Ciampa. 900 some odd days, right, between the last time he had to relinquish it, then came back and got it. And then Braun, he says, is going to drown in an ocean of inexperience. And I don't know about you, but looking at Braun Breaker, the guy looks like he's been in the ring for 20 years. Like, the guy really, really is a natural. But like I said, look at his father, Rick Steiner, and his uncle, Scott Steiner. Those two, he definitely have passed down their genetics to him, and his intensity when he yells out, when he raises his voice, reminds me of his uncle, and then his intensity and the way he just attacks his opponents like his dad. So if you guys are familiar with them, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the comparison I'm making between him and his father and uncle. And I'm looking forward to that. That's a setup. They're setting it up sometime down the road, and we'll see if they do. If they do pull that trigger and give him a title shot, maybe sooner than later. Now, Andre Chase takes on Boa. And will his degree of higher learning help him get past Boa? And Boa wins this match after Mei Ying blows some smoke into Chase's face, and Boa gets a much needed victory because he lost last time. And then I guess Mei Ying had to come out and show him how it's done, and she was really devastating. totally just wipe the floor with who I'm trying to remember who her opponent was. I don't think I can, But Sharon Q, maybe Sharon Q. Is it Shannon Q? I think it's Sharon Q. I remember her from the Mae Young Classic, and she had a couple of matches back a number of months ago. And she's the one playing Mei Ying, and she actually, good for her, she found a character, a gimmick that works for her, and she looks really, really good. And I know of her, martial arts background and everything like that. So I've heard about, read about it. So she's utilizing it here in this character, and it's amazing. I don't know where. There's rumors that what's her name? Zaya Lee is on her main roster. She's actually wrestled in some of the dark matches, and I'm just hoping they're not because she actually has something going on with you know Tian Sha. So hopefully she comes back and she continues, and maybe for a little while longer before they send her to the main roster for good. Now the Garganos, well, Johnny himself is up to his tricks, and he's trying to make sure that the newlyweds don't consummate the marriage. But Johnny is caught leaving the closet after the two, come to their bed and they're playing. I don't know. They're playing like I think patty cake or tiddlywinks or whatever they're doing. And then when he's caught coming out, what do you call it? Indy sleeping, and then what do you call it, looks at him, looks up, he gives a thumbs up, does Dexter Loomis, and then he pulls out all these condoms out of his robe pocket. I think Johnny Gargano, well, he found them. I don't think he sabotaged them or hit them, but I don't know. It's funny. And then there's honestly people that are saying that he's got no character. That Johnny Gargano is. Who are you watching? Who are you watching? Like Johnny Gargano is funny. They're finally letting him be a funny guy and doing the things that he's doing. He's showing pretty much his, he's all about wrestling. It's really mainly his wrestling, but he does have a personality. He does have some charisma. You know what I'm saying? He does thing. He's not all the way. He's not all out there like some wrestlers where they have it pops off on them. But he's good for what he is. I like the fact that they're saying that what can happen on a honeymoon, and then Candice LeRae points on her stomach, and you can see she's pregnant. She's out there. Her stomach is. I think she's ready to pop. Pretty soon, and happy for them. It's great that they're both expecting. Because I've always thought about her and Johnny. Because I go, hey, I wonder when they're gonna have time to have a kid, have a kids, and whatnot. And here we are. Who knows what they had? They're probably gonna have a girl because it just seems like every woman in wrestling that's having babies now recently are having girls, no boys. So we're gonna have a lot of second generation women superstars in 20 years. 15, 20 years. And either wrestling in here in WWE or where else. Now, Grayson Waller takes it to Roderick Strong. This is the match for the Cruiserweight Championship. But he was not, and Roderick Strong was not prepared for the preemptive strike by his Cruiserweight title challenger. But then we see Roderick Strong not use he's a Messiah of the Backbreaker. He usually uses that. It sets him up. Looks like he's going to do a suplex, and then he flips the guy around, and then he makes him land on his knees for a real stiff, hard, must hurt like motherfucker, backbreaker. But he said he gives him a knockout blow as Strong, connects with a high knee, and he retains the title. So it was a good match. It was. Grayson Waller is kind of like he talk, you're thinking, I wonder what this guy can do in the ring. And then he's pretty damn good. He actually backs up what he says, and very athletic. He's very high energy. The guy can hit you different corners and different angles and aspects. Like he's really that talented. And we may see him with the Cruiserweight title in the near future, but not right now because they are trying to build up Roderick Strong to be a strong leader for Diamond Mine, even though the manager is Malcolm Bivens, but Malcolm Bivens actually puts all of his, his what do you call it, apples in the basket when it comes to what do you call it. He doesn't, fills it all up with him, and he's putting all of his, trust in Roderick Strong, and look what happens. He's the champion. So he sees something, he saw something, and he actually is paid off. Now, LA Knight and Odyssey Jones, they will face off against each other next week. And then Knight beats down Odyssey Jones and leaves him laying. Very impressive because Odyssey Jones is a big boy, 404 pounds, something like that. But you look at LA Knight, he is put together, strong guy, well built. So I mean, he packs a lot of power and punch into his punches, behind his punches. So why not? And then we go and see Cora Jade, and has her first match next week. And of course, she's been accompanying Trey Baxter. And then Baxter tells her, hey man, hey, as long as you don't do what he does, because he lost to Dante Chen, and Dante Chen. Actually, before this, he said that he lives by a motto that lets him carve his own path. And he has his own path of passion, precision, and perseverance. And my journey has just begun. The guy looks impressive. I don't know. Maybe he needs to kind of get rid of that Mortal Kombat looking gimmick, or at least his attire and stuff like that. I mean, he's trying to find his way. He may get rid of it later on. As soon as he gets more comfortable and more people start gravitating towards him, and giving him a good backing, and popping for him when he comes in the ring. He has talent. He's a very good talent, very talented, from Singapore. So you know, a lot of the wrestlers that are coming out from Southeast Asia and all that stuff are really proving themselves, and it's good to see. So let's see what happens with him, as the weeks go by. And then we have this Lashing Out with Lash Legend, and it's a recorded segment. Because why would anybody sit through with her in the ring, especially after this segment? I mean, she talks about her 27 rebounds in a single game, and it got her a WNBA draft spot, because he did mention about the draft coming up on the main roster. And she called Ike Manjiro, who is annoying as fuck. He's the Miz and Morrison of NXT. I can't stand this guy. And then she said he's a real man. Like, yeah, really? A real man? And then, well, she said Andre Chase is, what did she even talk about, really? I mean, she's pretty much said that she didn't think of him, that much of him. I'll just, synopsis like that, put it together just like that. It's really not a good talk segment. A lot of, you see some people in the audience, but it's a lot of canned laughter, a lot of canned responses. I don't even think anybody really was the ones that, it was live, or actual people that were making it. I think it was piped in, or it was like a recorded reaction, all that stuff. It's like, what am I watching? Something off of BET, like an awful talk show? I mean, come on. Now, let's go to the match that's next to the main event, and that is Kyle O'Reilly versus Ridge Holland. And O'Reilly rolls up Holland and pins and wins the match. And Von Wagner comes to O'Reilly's aid as he is being beat down by Dunn and Holland. So that may be a tag team match next week. And well, I don't know. Ridge Holland looked weak in this match. He's a guy that's, the thing about him is that, yeah, he's a guy who's beating up everybody. He actually, you know what I mean? And he's the one, I believe, that caused the injury. I'm trying to remember. I think he was that caused O'Reilly's rib injuries and all that stuff. Couldn't be, but he had rib injuries coming in, and looks like he's kind of a little bit healed, but a little bit still tender there, and stuff like that. But it was a match. It was a match. It was a physical match. Of course, we expect that from O'Reilly and from Holland. That's what we got. And and then we see Tony Soprano's nephew. He might as well be another segment of him talking about his family and the business. And then he talks about cousin Richie. And I go, like, Richie Aprile. There's a Richie Aprile and Tony's in the. Can't they come up with different names or original names, man? Like, they can't come up with, like I said, different names. It's like the ones that we know from Sopranos. And then he says, talks about somebody talking to him. He goes, "Hey Tony, we got a situation." That's how Tony Soprano talks like that. "Yeah, we got a situation." Like, that's how he talks. And I go, you know what I mean? And he's debuting next week. Oh, I can't wait. Like, what is he gonna do? He's gonna he's gonna bring like a gabagool, a package of gabagool, and use that to hit somebody over the head. What, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so desperate on their part to have a character, and it's like you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna have like a crew with him? Like the full-blooded Italians back in the day. Oh God! Now, the women's title match is up next. We see Chingona Bomb to a game. Frankie Monet, and the champ is still the champ. And then Toxic Attraction comes out and attack Monet, Stone, and Kamei. You're thinking that they're gonna just let him go by, but he didn't. And then they surround the ring and set their sights on the women's champ, and Mandy Rose takes out the champ with a devastating high knee, and Rose holds up the title belt. So I guess, like I was saying earlier, they're setting it up for Mandy Rose, and I guess this is a good thing, because why did she come to NXT if she's not going to come after the WWE, the NXT Women's title. And then here she is, and she actually did. Well, she's going for it. It just depends on when they're going to book it. Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. Next week they'll probably announce it, and it'll be like in 2 weeks or something like that. Who knows? But maybe they should have a little more of a program between the two, and then let what do you call it? Let old girl, you know, Gonzalez go after her and attack her, and maybe leave her girls flat. You know, Mandy Rose's girls laid out in the back, and then in the following week it's Mandy Rose that takes kind of gets a little payback, and then something like that. Build it up, and then have the title match. I like what he did with Dakota Kai and Gonzalez, because it was a good build up, even though it was last minute. It was like less than a month, but he really did have something there, and he built it up really well. So do it with them. It'll be great to do that with those two. But anyway, that's my video for NXT 2.0. Um, you know, I I thought it was okay. I hate having these differing feelings week to week, because NXT used to always be like, I like it, I love it, it's great, it's great. And now it's just like, you know. But we'll see next week what happens next week. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by, checked it out, and appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.